Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The quieter you become, the more you can hear what the world is trying to distract you from. Ever notice how Sigma males vanish from the noise, only to reappear sharper, smarter, and 3 steps ahead of everyone else? That's not luck, that's design. Here's a wild fact. Highly independent minds tend to engage in solitary, intellectually intense hobbies that don't just pass time. They sharpen perception, boost resilience, and elevate their control over their environment. In plain English, they don't waste time with nonsense. Every hobby is a secret weapon in disguise, while the rest of the world is doom-scrolling, trauma-dumping, and pretending to enjoy team-building activities that make them want to jump out a window. Sigma males are busy doing something else entirely, something oddly brilliant, deeply personal, and absolutely not up for explanation. In this video, we're diving into 20 mind-blowingly unique hobbies that Sigma males are obsessed with, and spoiler alert, none of them are cliché. No hiking, no yoga, no reading classic novels with a matcha latte. These are the underground passions of men who reject the herd, master themselves, and quietly dominate from the shadows. Ready to see what Sigma males do when no one's watching? Let's get into it. Number 1. Becoming experts in low-key, high-skill fields. Sigma males are obsessed with mastery, but not in the showy, attention-hungry way most people chase it. They're drawn to low-key, high-skill fields, hobbies that don't scream status but require precision, discipline, and patience most people simply don't have. You won't catch them bragging about these things either, because that would ruin the point. The appeal lies in the silence, the solitude, and the slow burn of getting dangerously good at something almost no one pays attention to. Take something like bonsai cultivation. To most, it looks like a weird little tree in a pot. To a Sigma male, it's a quiet war between nature and control. It takes years of micro-adjustments, observation, and restraint to shape a bonsai tree into something meaningful. No shortcuts, no hacks. It demands presence, care, and a level of inner stillness that filters out chaos. That's exactly what pulls a Sigma in, anything that can't be faked or fast-tracked. The same goes for something like traditional calligraphy or ancient sword techniques. These aren't just hobbies, they're rituals. Every stroke or movement teaches control, attention to detail, and mental sharpness. There's no room for noise, ego, or comparison. The entire process is a one-on-one battle between the Sigma and the craft. It's intense, personal, and incredibly rewarding in a way that shallow entertainment never is. And the beautiful twist? No one even needs to know he's doing it. That's the difference. Most people pick up skills for validation, applause, or content. Sigma males do it to recalibrate their minds, to engage their senses, and to stay dangerously sharp in a world that encourages laziness. Every motion becomes a meditation. Every session becomes a sharpening stone for the soul. It's not about being impressive, it's about being untouchable. These hobbies aren't trends, they're training grounds. The Sigma male doesn't want to be known for what he does. He wants to know deep down that if the world burned tomorrow, he'd still have skills no one could take away. That kind of self-reliance, it's rare. And it's exactly why Sigma males are always 10 steps ahead, quietly perfecting things that everyone else is too distracted to even notice. Number 2, mentally mapping every interaction like a battlefield. Sigma males don't chat, they assess. While most people engage in small talk to fill silence or bond, the Sigma treats every interaction like a chess match with hidden stakes. The moment he steps into a room, his mind switches into reconnaissance mode. He's scanning body language, tone shifts, eye movements, even how people laugh. Not because he's paranoid, but because he's trained himself to see what others miss. Who's performing? Who's genuine? Who's trying too hard to dominate? Who's silently observing just like him? Every single cue gets filed. He's not just hearing what people say, he's listening to what they're not saying. That subtle pause before answering, the flicker of discomfort when a topic comes up, the way someone's eyes dart to a more powerful figure before they speak, he catches it all. It's not about being socially anxious or insecure, it's calculated awareness. He's mentally drawing relationship maps on the fly, who respects who secretly resents who's hiding something behind politeness. To most, he looks relaxed, cool, maybe even a bit detached. But under the hood, his brain's running at full throttle. 10 steps ahead, gaming out how each move could shift the entire dynamic. He doesn't just walk away from conversations, he walks away with intel, patterns, weak points, motivations. He might not act on it immediately, but trust, he stores it for when it matters. And no, he's not doing this to manipulate people. That's too basic. He's doing it to stay sharp, stay ahead, and never get caught off guard. In a world where people smile while secretly plotting or lie through curated filters, the Sigma refuses to be blind. It's how he stays powerful in silence. He doesn't need to speak loudly when he already knows how the whole room ticks. So while others are busy trying to impress, he's out here drawing invisible battle maps in his head. Quiet, calculated, deadly observant. By the time you figure out what just happened, he's already out the door with everything he needed and nothing he didn't. Number 3, reverse engineering systems, just to break them later. Sigma males don't accept the world at face value. When something works, most people celebrate it. A Sigma male? He raises an eyebrow and starts asking, why does this work? Who benefits from it? What's being hidden? Whether it's a social rule, a piece of tech, a religious tradition, or even a friendship dynamic, he can't help but dissect it, layer by layer, until the truth spills out. He's not trying to be a rebel. He's wired to pull the curtain back and see the engine, not just admire the result. And here's where it gets a little unnerving. He doesn't reverse engineer things to make them better for everyone. That's not his mission. He breaks them down to understand their vulnerabilities. Once he sees the weak spots, the illusions, the dependencies, he owns the system. He might never use that knowledge, or he might use it to walk away with surgical precision. Either way, he holds the power, not the system itself. Take social norms. Most people just follow them to fit in. Sigma males study them like they're decoding a virus. Why do people greet each other this way? Why is success defined like that? Who decided loyalty means sacrificing your boundaries? Once he figures out the mechanics, he's free from the script everyone else is performing. That's not rebellion. That's liberation through understanding. It's the same with tech or organizations. He'll take apart an app just to understand how it mines data. He'll study a corporate structure just to see how the power is distributed behind the scenes. He doesn't need the title or the spotlight. He just needs to know who's really running the show and how easily it could all collapse if you tugged the right thread. And sometimes, he'll break things just because he can. Not out of malice, but out of pure curiosity mixed with a taste for intellectual dominance. It's like a game. Can he outthink the design? Can he outmaneuver the code? Can he find the one flaw the architects missed? Most people are playing in the system. Sigma males are quietly learning how to take the entire system apart with a smirk, and if needed, disappear before anyone even notices. Number 4, studying power dynamics like it's a martial art. Sigma males aren't just interested in people, they're interested in who controls the people. They study power like it's a martial art, not a personality trait. While others are distracted by charm, charisma, or confidence, the Sigma's eyes are locked on something deeper: leverage, hierarchy, and hidden influence. He's not fooled by loud voices or big titles. In fact, the louder someone talks, the more suspicious he gets. Real power doesn't need to announce itself, and he knows it. He doesn't just casually flip through books on human behavior. He obsesses over case studies of dictators, cult leaders, war generals, and corporate tyrants. Not to idolize them, but to understand the mechanics of control, what worked, what collapsed, what tiny gestures inspired loyalty or fear. He watches how power is gained, maintained, and most importantly, how it unravels. In real life, he observes power plays like a sniper from a rooftop. In meetings, social circles, or any group setting, he sees who defers to who uses silence as control, who dominates through fear versus respect. He watches micro-expressions, speech patterns, seating choices. While others are trying to get a word in, the Sigma is already mapping the unspoken pecking order and clocking which egos are fragile, which loyalties are fake, and who would crumble under pressure. He doesn't do this for fun or gossip. This is preparation. If things ever go south, at work, in a group, or even in a relationship, he already knows who to sidestep, who to challenge, and who to let self-destruct. He doesn't need to be the leader to control the room. He just needs to know who everyone's really listening to and how to flip that script without raising his voice. This is why he rarely gets blindsided. People think they've fooled him with surface-level charm or group consensus. What they don't realize is he already saw the power web before he even spoke. And if you try to manipulate him, he'll dismantle your entire strategy without you even realizing you've been neutralized. To the Sigma, studying power isn't about control for control's sake, it's about freedom. The more he understands how power operates, the less he can be ruled by it, and the more silently dangerous he becomes. Number 5, mastering obscure skills nobody asks for. Sigma males are drawn to skills that make people raise an eyebrow. If everyone's learning trendy productivity hacks or taking beginner-level language classes for vacation vibes, the Sigma's buried deep in forums learning how to forge signatures, decode encryption, or build an offline AI bot that doesn't spy on him. He's not doing it for approval. In fact, he prefers when no one understands what he's up to. That just confirms he's swimming in waters too deep for the average mind. The weirder the skill, the better. Lockpicking? That's not about breaking into anything. It's about mastering control over what others call secure. Forging documents? He's not committing crimes. He's testing how fragile official really is. He's constantly training his brain to question the assumed limits of authority, legality, and access, and programming his own AI. That's not to show off. It's because he doesn't trust mainstream tools and would rather build a solution than rely on a surveillance-ridden convenience. These skills aren't random. They're strategic. Sigma males collect them like weapons in a hidden armory. He may never use 90% of them, but knowing he could gives him a mental edge. It's not about being flashy. It's about being untouchable. There's something deeply satisfying for a Sigma in knowing he has capabilities no one sees coming. Skills that would seem weird to most people feel like personal currency to him. They buy independence, stealth, and the ability to walk through doors most people don't even know exist. And let's be honest, part of the thrill is doing something the world didn't ask him to do, because once people expect something, it becomes performance. Sigma males detest performance. Mastery to them is sacred when it's done in silence. They're not looking to be praised. They're looking to be lethal in ways that can't be measured by applause. So when everyone else is wasting time chasing likes, trends, or certifications to impress hiring managers, the Sigma's off the grid learning something strange, untraceable, and highly specific, something that, if the system ever fails, suddenly turns him into the most capable man in the room, not by accident, by design. Number 6, building private worlds no one's invited to. Sigma males have a strange but powerful obsession, building entire worlds that no one else gets to see. Not because they're antisocial, but because reality, shared reality, comes with too many variables they don't control. Rules they didn't write, people they didn't choose, agendas they didn't sign up for, so they create private ecosystems, meticulously designed, obsessively customized, and completely off-limits to the outside world. Sometimes it's digital, a complex underground bunker built in Minecraft with layers of redstone traps, hidden vaults, and secret escape tunnels, not for gameplay, for order, for control, for peace of mind. It's a digital simulation of sovereignty, where every block, every switch, every structure answers only to them. Sometimes it's not a game at all, it's real-world prep, a cabin in the woods, a hidden server room, a rigged-out van with solar panels and satellite internet. No roommates, no guests, no digital footprint. This isn't isolation, it's architecture for independence. When a Sigma builds, it's not just aesthetics, it's about engineering total autonomy. From the lighting to the locks to the location, everything exists to give him one thing: full spectrum freedom without compromise. There's no need for applause. In fact, showing it to anyone would dilute the value. The joy comes from knowing that somewhere out there, digitally or physically, he has a domain where no one can interfere, and yes, sometimes it gets weird. He'll design an entire language for a fictional society, build a coded archive of personal philosophies, rig his own private VPN inside a Raspberry Pi hidden in a shoebox. To most people, that's eccentric at best, paranoid at worst. To him, it's mental hygiene. It's an expression of self-rule in a world that keeps trying to hijack your time, your thoughts, your identity. He doesn't need followers. He doesn't need users. He needs space where he can be the architect, the law, and the ghost. That's why Sigma males are often misunderstood. People can't wrap their heads around someone who builds not for display, but for internal mastery. He's not escaping the world. He's outbuilding it, quietly, skillfully, and with zero need for permission. Number 7, disappearing into deep tech like it's a second dimension. Sigma males treat the internet like a jungle full of secrets, not a playground. While most people scroll, post, and chase dopamine, the Sigma's mind is diving into layers of code, backdoors, private networks, and obscure forums that most users don't even know exist. He doesn't care about likes, followers, or trending topics. He's more interested in protocol vulnerabilities, decentralized loopholes, and what the dark corners of the internet can teach him about control, freedom, and how to quietly outsmart entire systems. He's not your everyday tech guy. He doesn't brag about coding a website or automating a spreadsheet. That's surface-level stuff. Sigma males go deeper. He's reading white papers most people skip. He's testing smart contracts for hidden flaws. He's learning how blockchain forensics actually work, just so he can understand how to avoid them. It's not about money. It's about leverage, power, exit options. And if one of those options happens to be through a burner wallet and a cold storage ledger buried in a place only he knows, even better. His fascination with deep tech isn't just curiosity, it's survival instinct. In a world obsessed with surveillance, censorship, and algorithmic manipulation, Sigma males don't want to be part of the system. They want to know how to beat it. And that means understanding how it was built, how it can be broken, and how to vanish from it when necessary. Not everyone gets that. Most people are addicted to visibility. Sigma males, addicted to vanishing. Sometimes this obsession turns into full-on empire building. He might be running an anonymous server, writing self-erasing code, or managing crypto assets in jurisdictions that don't even have functioning governments. It's all quiet, it's all clean, and nobody knows it's him. That's the goal. While others are flexing fake lifestyles online, he's building digital infrastructure you couldn't trace even if you tried. To the Sigma male, the internet isn't just a tool, it's a second dimension. One where power doesn't come from popularity, but from knowledge, stealth, and the ability to see what others can't. And in that world, he's not just playing. He's rewriting the rules from the shadows. Number 8, creating intellectual booby traps for themselves. Sigma males have a strange but razor-sharp habit. They set intellectual traps for themselves. Not because they enjoy suffering, but because they fear one thing more than being wrong, becoming mentally soft. So instead of nesting inside echo chambers or surrounding themselves with agreeable opinions, they go hunting for perspectives that threaten their own. They'll read books that irritate them, argue points they don't believe in, and purposely consume content from people they fundamentally disagree with, not to argue online, but to sharpen their own thinking in private. They don't want comfort. They want friction, mental resistance. They crave the kind of discomfort that forces their brain to fight back, not shut down. A Sigma will pick up a dense book full of ideas he despises just to find the one line that exposes a weakness in his worldview. And when he finds it, he doesn't panic. He leans in. That's the whole point. He's not afraid to rebuild his own beliefs from scratch. He's afraid of letting them calcify into something unexamined. And because of that, he plays devil's advocate with himself constantly. He'll debate in his head, write internal rebuttals, and dismantle his own arguments just to make sure he's not talking out of ego or outdated programming. He knows the world is full of smart people who are wrong, and he refuses to be one of them. So rather than build walls around his mind, he builds mazes full of pressure points, paradoxes, and trapdoors to test the integrity of his thinking. Most people avoid what challenges them. Sigma males chase it down, rip it apart, and rebuild it better. That's why they're often misunderstood. They're not indecisive or confused. They're unafraid to evolve. And that makes them dangerous in the best way. While others get lazy and cling to certainty, the Sigma stays sharp by constantly flipping the table on himself. This intellectual self-sabotage isn't masochism. It's maintenance. It's how they keep their edge in a world full of slogans, surface-level beliefs, and spoon-fed opinions. The Sigma doesn't want to be right by accident. He wants to earn every belief he holds. And if that means proving himself wrong a dozen times to get there, so be it. That's just another Tuesday in the mental dojo. Number 9, simulating extreme scenarios in their heads. Sigma males have a strange relationship with chaos. They respect it, expect it, and quietly train for it when no one's watching. While most people scroll through memes to kill time, the Sigma is mentally rehearsing betrayal by a best friend, societal collapse, or what he'd do if his bank account suddenly vanished. This isn't fear. It's control through exposure. The more brutal the scenario, the calmer he becomes. Because he's already lived it 100 times in his head. He doesn't simulate disasters to feed anxiety. He does it to build psychological armor. If a friend stabs him in the back, he won't spiral. He's already watched that scene play out in his mind with surgical precision. If his career crumbles overnight, He's got 5 backup moves pre-planned. If trust shatters, if systems fail, if people flip, he's not shocked. He's already been there in his mental war room, adjusting his internal playbook while the world still thought everything was fine. This isn't some shallow what-if spiral. It's a full-on psychological drill. He plays out the emotional impact, the social aftermath, the logistical nightmare, all of it. So if or when it ever happens, his brain doesn't freeze. It executes. He's not emotionally bulletproof because he's numb. He's prepared. Most people are emotionally fragile because they live in denial of how dark life can get. Sigma males don't deny it. They simulate it until it doesn't scare them anymore. And here's the crazy part. He enjoys this mental training. He finds clarity in the ugliness. He learns his own limits by pushing them in silence. And while everyone else is shocked when life flips the script, the Sigma barely flinches, because the chaos unfolding outside is old news to him. He's already seen it, studied it, mastered it in solitude. So when people ask how he stays so calm during a storm, the answer is brutal but simple. He already lived the storm before it started. While the world hopes for peace, Sigma males prepare for war, and that's why they're always 3 steps ahead and 5 steps out of reach. Number 10. Creating ultra-precise routines to bypass society's noise. Sigma males aren't obsessed with routines because they want order. They're obsessed with mental sovereignty. Every ultra-precise system they build is designed to starve distractions, kill unnecessary noise, and reclaim control from a world that thrives on chaos. While most people are addicted to novelty and decision fatigue, the Sigma is quietly engineering his life like a sniper sets up a shot. Zero waste, total focus, and no room for randomness. To outsiders, it looks robotic. Same breakfast every morning, same 3 shirts in rotation, same path to the gym, same time for deep work. But what they don't see is the reason behind it all. Every repeated action is one less mental toll. Every automation is a refusal to give brain power to things that don't matter. The goal isn't efficiency for the sake of productivity. It's freedom from static. That static is emotional clutter, social drama, impulsive choices, irrelevant opinions. Sigma males cut all of that at the root by building routines that act like silencers on life. They're not trying to look disciplined. They're not flexing with cold showers and 5 a.m. alarms. That's surface-level noise. The Sigma's routine is invisible warfare, a way to train the mind to go deeper, stay cleaner, and resist the gravitational pull of useless stimuli. Where others are drained by 1,000 micro-decisions before noon, the Sigma is still fresh, locked in, and already 10 moves ahead because he didn't waste mental bandwidth on what to eat, wear, or post. And no, he doesn't care if it looks boring. That's the point. Because the boring exterior hides a savage internal system, a mind with no clutter, no indecision, and no interest in chasing dopamine like everyone else. That's why his routines are sacred. They're not about aesthetics. They're about preserving clarity in a foggy world. That clarity, it's his edge. And while most are busy reacting to life, he's already architecting it with cold, quiet precision. In a society addicted to the noise, Sigma males don't try to scream louder. They just mute everything. And that silence, it's where their real power lives. Number 11, writing manifestos, not journals. When a Sigma male puts pen to paper, it's not to vent feelings or talk about how his day went. There's no, "Today I felt sad" or "had coffee with Sarah" in his notes. What he writes are manifestos, raw, unfiltered frameworks that fuse psychology, strategy, morality, and self-discipline into brutal personal doctrines. These aren't journals. They're war plans, personal constitutions, operating systems. The kind of pages that would terrify the average person if they ever stumbled across them. It's not about expressing emotions. It's about clarifying intent. Every line is written to extract truth, expose blind spots, or codify how he wants to operate in an irrational world. His notes might include his own laws for loyalty, calculated risk analysis models, contingency plans if society collapses, or a brutal breakdown of human weakness. And while it might look insane to someone who lives on autopilot, for the Sigma, it's control through design. He's not writing because he needs healing. He's writing because he needs precision. Life is messy, chaotic, and full of manipulation. And the Sigma knows that if he doesn't write his own playbook, he'll end up playing someone else's game. So he scrawls out philosophies that are often darker than people are ready to face. Codes like trust only behavior, not words, or Love is loyalty under pressure. Everything else is sentiment. These aren't feelings. These are rules. Internal weapons disguised as thoughts. Some entries look like tactical breakdowns of people's social patterns. Others are psychological autopsies of his own reactions, and others, pure doctrine. No one is coming, act accordingly. Control what you can, exit what you can't. That's not journaling, that's mental warfare dressed up as handwriting. And what's wild is, he doesn't even care if anyone ever sees it. It's not for legacy, it's for mental clarity. To know exactly what he believes, exactly where he stands, and exactly what he'll do when pressure hits. While others drown in emotional confusion, the Sigma male flips open his manifesto and knows who he is, what he allows, and where he's going. That's not therapeutic, that's tactical self-alignment. And it's why he stays ahead, even in silence. Number 12, collecting intellectual ammunition. Sigma males treat information like warriors treat blades, sharpened, hidden, and deadly when drawn. They don't consume knowledge just to sound smart or pass exams. They collect it like intellectual ammunition. Rare quotes, obscure philosophies, ancient warfare tactics, fringe psychological models, forbidden texts, all stored deep in a mental vault built for one thing, strategic dominance. To most people, they look like quiet observers, but beneath that stillness is a war chest of mind weapons ready to deploy if anyone tries to step into battle unprepared. This isn't about appearing intelligent, it's about being prepared for the argument that comes out of nowhere, for the manipulator who thinks they've got game, for the corporate shark who tries to play politics. The Sigma male doesn't raise his voice or throw punches, he dismantles people with unnerving precision. One unexpected quote, one brutal truth, one historical reference used like a sniper shot, and the entire room shifts. That's the power of intellectual ammunition. It's silent until it's needed. Then it's lethal. What they choose to study says a lot. They're not reading surface-level inspiration or recycled pop culture wisdom. They're in the trenches of real power theory, Machiavelli, Sun Tzu, Robert Greene, Carl Jung, Nietzsche. But they're also reading things no one's ever heard of, obscure declassified tactics, long-dead philosophers, esoteric religious texts, cult behavior manuals. It's not curiosity, it's armament. Every piece of knowledge is filtered through one lens. How can this help me see what others miss? They rarely speak it aloud. You won't catch them quoting something in casual conversations just to flex. That's for amateurs. A Sigma doesn't need to show the gun to make you feel it. He just needs to know it's there, cocked, loaded, and ready. And when the time comes, when the stakes are high and the masks drop, that's when he reaches into the vault and fires with accuracy that leaves people stunned, silenced, or exposed. This is why debating them is a bad idea. They don't argue, they deconstruct. Because when you've spent years quietly collecting weapons of the mind, you don't fight fair. You end the battle before it begins. When you peel back the layers of what Sigma males do in their spare time, it becomes crystal clear. Their so-called hobbies aren't about passing time. They're about sharpening the blade. Every interest, every obsession, every strange mental ritual they engage in is a calculated investment in becoming stronger, harder to manipulate, and more sovereign than they were yesterday. While most people seek hobbies for entertainment, the Sigma turns his free time into a training ground, mentally, strategically, even spiritually. These aren't guys who casually pick up guitar one week and drop it the next. No. They'll learn a dying language just to decode a forbidden text. They'll master psychological warfare not to control others, but to ensure they can't be controlled. They'll build entire systems, real or virtual, just to explore what it feels like to have full dominion over something, even if no one ever sees it. Everything they do has layers beneath the surface. Even their quietest moments are often the most dangerous, because that's when they're running simulations, reverse engineering reality, and calmly designing their next escape plan from whatever chaos the world tries to trap them in. To the outsider, these hobbies might look eccentric, overly intense, or downright weird. But to the Sigma, they are necessary countermeasures in a world that tries to dull minds, weaken wills, and reward conformity. He doesn't do what's popular. He does what makes him untouchable. And if that means spending months mastering obscure knowledge, training himself to emotionally detach, or simulating collapse scenarios just to be ready for anything, then so be it. That's not paranoia. That's tactical wisdom in a culture that rewards people for sleeping with their eyes open. In a society obsessed with being seen, Sigma males build power in silence. While others chase trends, they chase timeless truths. While others drown in the shallow end, they dive deep into psychology, systems, danger, solitude. Their hobbies aren't hobbies at all, they're weapons. And when the world finally notices what they've been building in the shadows, it'll be too late. Because while everyone else was playing, the Sigma was preparing. If this resonated with you or pulled back the curtain on how these rare minds operate, make sure to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more brutally honest breakdowns of Sigma psychology and mindset. Share this with someone who sees the world differently. They just might be Sigma too. If this hit different, if it gave you chills, clarity, or just confirmed what you've always felt deep down, then don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button and join a channel that doesn't serve surface-level fluff, but raw, unfiltered truth about Sigma life and the mindset that separates the rare from the ordinary. Like this video to push it through the noise. Drop a comment below, whether you agree, disagree, or just want to add something sharp to the mix. And most importantly, share this with someone who's quietly different. Someone who's been misunderstood for thinking too deeply or walking their own path. This is more than content. It's a quiet rebellion against mediocrity. Join the movement, stay sharp, stay untouchable.